Hey, welcome quilting friends. This is Tater down here at the Rusty Moon Quilts, and today I want to share with you, do you struggle with cutting your fabric? A lot of our quilting friends, they struggle with cutting their fabric. If you ask somebody who has been quilting for any amount of time, what they do is they say, I struggle, I have anxiety over cutting my fabric, and we want to try to help you with that. We have a method that we've developed over the years called the slide rule method, and it's really neat. It's once you grab a hold of how this process or how this method works, I will guarantee you that you will become, number one, a much better cutter. You won't stress over it. You won't lose any sleep over it. But it's a lot better method to cut. Most people will use like the old 6x24 rulers to cut, or maybe you cut off of a mat. But we're going to show you this evening how to do the slide rule cutting method. It doesn't matter whether you're right-handed or left-handed, so stay tuned. We are going to walk you through each step of how this method works, and I will guarantee you that you will become a better quilter and better cutter of your fabrics. So stay tuned. So most of the time, when you're cutting your fabric, you are going to, most of the time that quilters will cut their fabric, they will open their fabric up like this, where you have it, where the selvage, you have it half the width of the fabric, and you have approximately 22 inches from here, from your belly up to the top here. And what most quilters do will use like a 6x24 ruler, 6.5x24, and let's just say that you're doing a quilt and it has to have 3.5-inch squares, okay? Or 4.5-inch squares. Let's just say 3.5-inch. So what you would do is you would come over here to 3.5-inch, or you would try to square this edge up by cutting off a little bit of the fabric right here and try to square that edge up, okay? Which you never get perfectly square. We're going to show you here in just a moment how you're going to get it perfectly square. But let's just say you take this and you put it up here. Maybe you use your mat to do it. You use it here like a 1/2 inch or whatever, and then you cut this off like so. Okay, I always make sure that I cut that. And then what you do is you come across here and you go to 3.5 inches on your ruler and you line that up like so, and you make a 3.5-inch cut here like that, and you might get a couple of them that are perfect like that. You might, but what happens a lot of times is when you're cutting, I'm able to go from here to here, but a lot of people, you have to stop in the middle and your ruler will move on you, and what happens is you get a cut that's not true. It's not a true 3.5-inch in this case. So what happens is you cut the next one and it gets a little bit further off, and you get a little bit further off, and you get a little bit further off. All right, well, we're going to show you the slide rule cutting method. All right, and there's a lot of benefits to this, okay? Number one, we're going to end up with a square edge, and what we're going to do, instead of cutting off our square edge, you've seen what I did there. I cut my square edge, and then I moved over and cut this off. Well, I have actually taken my square edge and done away with it. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to do a slide rule method, and what we're going to do is we're going to square up the edge of our fabric, and then we are going to, if we're right-handed, we're going to cut from the right back to the left, and if you're left-handed, it works both for righties or lefties, and if you're left-handed, you will cut from the left back to the right, okay? But no more of the 6x24 rulers, no more having to, I've seen people take and put like a barbell or a weight or something like that out here, or maybe they have somebody holding it. it's very cumbersome. It's very difficult to go from this edge of the fabric all the way out here to this. So we're going to show you there's a lot of benefits in what I'm going to teach you tonight, today about that. And so what we're going to do is, first of all, we are going to take our fabric and we are going to fold it in half again. Okay, so I like to take the selvage side of my fabric and have it. Now, a lot of folks at home, you don't have a very large area to work in. A lot of people work at their kitchen tables, or maybe you have a little studio in a bedroom where you have just a little cutting surface. So what you want to do is, I have 1.5 yards of fabric here, and what you need to do is take this fabric and fold it. I have the factory fold down here with the selvage, and I like to just take it and fold it up, okay, like so. And so now I can work with smaller increments. I don't have to have a great big area. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to square up this edge, because if this edge is not square, then my next cut won't be square. And you can see the process that we did before. If I don't get this cut square, then when I cut this one, that one's going to be a little bit off. Then when I cut this one, it's even going to be more off. And by the time you get down here cutting 6 or 8 strips of that, you're going to be really off. And that's what a lot of quilters struggle with, is they get what I call wonky cuts. Okay, so what we're going to do, and what I want to share with you is this is a whole process, or a whole method. Okay, we use what is called the Quilter's Cutting Guide. Basically, what this is our quilting Bible, and basically what this guide does is it breaks down every single measurement that you can possibly have in any quilt pattern. All right, so I'm just going to open this up and just take it at 3 1/8 inches. Okay, what this book does, or this Bible, what it does is it figures out in a 12.5 inch strip of fabric, I am going to get 48 3 1/8 inch squares. Okay, so it tells me where I need to start my cutting. So what I do is I normally just set this right by my cutting station. And so what we're going to do, I've already Terrio Magic this, okay, and ironed it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it out here and where I can comfortably get from here to here. Now, the great benefit about this is I don't have to go, 24 inches or 22 inches. I only have to go from here to here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to slide this down just a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is we use 2 rulers in this process. We use a little 6x12, this little guy here. I like the Omni Grid. And then we use a 15-inch ruler. All right. How many of you at home have maybe you've done a quilt block and you have to square it up to 6.5 inches? Maybe you're doing a 6.5 inch block. How many of you have purchased another ruler and done like a 6.5 inch? You use this as a square up block? Okay, I'm not one to have 14 different rulers. Okay, if I need to square up a 6.5 inch block, I've got a 15-inch ruler here, so I can square up all the way up to a 15-inch block if I need be. All right, so I can square up a 6.5 inch block by using this one ruler, all the way down to 1 inch, all the way up to 15 inches. So there's a lot of benefits to that. So let's talk about how I want to square this up. Okay, the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to get this in a comfortable position on my cutting mat, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to my square edge of my fabric. Okay, this is always square, and I'm going to just for sake of the video, I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here. You can see this is off right here, okay? And then I'm going to take, now this is for right-handers, okay? If I'm left-handed, I would be doing it on the other end of this fabric, all right? I'm right-handed, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide it up here, just like so, and then I'm going to take my rotary cutter, and I'm going to cut across here, okay? I have a perfect straight edge right there. That is a perfect cut. So what I'm going to do now is I'm doing a quilt. I don't need this ruler at the moment, so I'm going to just set it out of the way. So what I'm going to do now, if you look over here, out of this 15-inch ruler that I have here, I'm going to be able to get 48 3 1/8 inch squares out of this, okay? So my first cut is going to be at 12.5 inches. So I want you to look at this, okay? Remember, we're going to be cutting, actually in the video, you're going to be looking at it from left to right. So I'm standing on this side of the table, so I'm going to be cutting from right back to the left. So my first cut is going to be at 12.5 inches. So I line this up vertically down here, and then I like to use these darker lines. And so what we will do is come down here. This is horizontally is perfect, and my vertical is perfect. All right, so my first cut is going to be over here at the 12.5 inch mark. Okay, the other thing that I recommend to our quilters is these ruler guards for your rulers. They serve several purposes. Number one, it gives you a guard to keep your fingers behind, because if I'm going across here and I just kind of daydream a little bit and up on the ruler I go and cut my finger. Many of our quilters, I've seen lots of quilters who have cut their fingers. So that is the biggest purpose of that. But it's also a place where I can spider my fingers, and I can provide even pressure so that my ruler does not slip. Okay, so, and you can put these wherever you like to on the ruler. So my first cut, as we look here on our quilting guide, is 12.5 inches. Okay, so what I've done here is I've cut my first cut at 12.5. I'm just going to slide this out of the way. You can see I still have my perfectly square edge over here. I have not compromised this edge. It's perfect. I know it's perfect because I squared it up and I cut it perfect. So I know that if I cut this cut per that cut, I have a perfect cut here. So my next cut is at 9 3/8 inches. So I slide this over, thus the sliding rule method. I slide this over, and this is kind of a, these little marks on your rulers, if you have a ruler at home and you're going to use it, most of the rulers have 1/8 inch marks on here. So I just count over 9 and then 1, 2, 3, that's 3/8, and I line it up down here. And again, I'm going to line it out up horizontally. So I have two square points of measurements here. I have a horizontal mark and I have a vertical mark. I know that if I line that up perfectly there and I line that up perfectly there, my next cut, which would be right here at 9 3/8, it is going to be perfect. Okay, so look at how perfect that is. You cannot cut something even like that with a laser cutter. But I want to show you something else too. A lot of times when you open your fabric, if you cut with your fabric like this in length, the width of the fabric like that, you get what we call the wonky W in the center of your piece here. All right, so when you open this up, a lot of times you'll get like this, and it'll come down and go like so. So when you cut this way, you are cutting a shorter distance, so you do not end up with that little wonky W in the middle of your strip. All righty, so that's just one. Okay, so then we need to go down here to, it's 6 1/4 inches. Okay, so you slide over to 6 1/4. Okay, here again, I like to use, you can slide this wherever you want, but I like to use, you have your vertical line here, and then you have your horizontal line here. Okay, you got your fingers behind your ruler guard. You make your next cut. Okay, perfect every time. I want you to see how perfect these are. Okay, every single time. I know you a lot of our quilters that we have on our live, and also that come in our store, they struggle with cutting. I can't get my strips to be perfect every time. I want you to see that. Look at how perfect these are. They are right on the money. The reason why that is because we have not taken our square edge away. It stays there until I'm down to the end, which was my next cut is 3 1/8 inches. I'm getting kind of close to the edge here. So it really doesn't matter if I move my fabric. I can move this wherever I want. So I come over here to 3 1/8 inches, which is 3 and one little mark past 3. Okay, and then again we line this up vertical, a vertical here and horizontal here. So I get a perfect cut. So you can see, quilting friends, you can see that I have not I have not disturbed this cut by cutting from going from left to right. Okay, so every time you cut, you're cutting back to my squared up edge here, and you save the integrity of my cuts every single time. All right, so that's how you do that. Now there's another step that I need 48 3 1/8 inch squares. So what I will do is I will take these and I will lay them out. Generally I like a couple layers. Sometimes people will go more than that, but whatever you feel comfortable with. If you've got a nice sharp rotary blade, you can do that. You can go more. I've got two strips here. So I have 4 layers of fabric. I don't like to go more than that because my fabric sometimes will shift around on me. So I will come down here and I will just cut off my selvage edge, okay? Right here, just like so. And then what I will do is I will come back here and I'll flip this around, okay? And it doesn't matter where you put it, just make sure you get it nice and in a comfortable area, a spot where you can cut. So I can come here to 12 1/2, okay? 12 1/2, and again, I'm just gonna line this up here. Again, I'm cutting from right back to the left, all right? And I wanna show you how quickly I can cut 9 3/8. I can cut 48 3 1/8 inch squares out very, very quickly. And you have perfect squares every single time. All of these are perfect. Every single one of these would be perfect, okay? 9 3/8, 6 1/4, okay? We have all of these products on our website, which we have a link that you can the rotary cutter, the rulers, the ruler guards, all of that will go down to 3 1/8, okay? Right here. Again, I'm going with a horizontal square and a vertical square, so I make sure that my ruler is square when I make that cut. So I have made, and then I can come over here, I can go to 9 3/8. Look at the waist that I have. All right, I'm at 9 3/8 over here, so you can see how accurate this cutting is, but also how saving of fabric that it is. It saves a lot of fabric, so I have very little waste. I want you to see that plus a little bit of selvage is all I'm going to have out of this strip set. So not only do you cut more accurately, but you cut more efficiently. Okay, so here again we have, there we go, 6 1/4 and then 3 1/8, and I have cut 48. There are 48 3 1/8 inch squares, just that fast. Okay. Alrighty, so once again, this is Tater down at the Rusty Moon Quilts. I hope that you will enjoy this cutting method. I hope that you will try it, okay? Give it a try. I guarantee you that it will make you a better cutter. You won't waste as much fabric by saying, oh, darn it, I've got to recut that strip or I've got to recut those squares. Try this slide rule cutting method. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we appreciate you all of our quilting friends out there. Join us for more videos. Try out the slide rule quilting cutting method, and I guarantee you that you will be a better quilter, cut more efficiently and faster when you try this method. Alrighty, so thank you so much. Have a great day from Tater and all of your friends down here at the Rusty Moon Quilts.